Hello, my name is Laura Roelant, and welcome to my fourth book critique. My main featured text for this book critique is entitled Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, an African Tale. This, inspired by a folktale picture book, displays great examples of kindness, compassion, unselfishness, and generosity. There's a king who's looking to marry one of the fine women from his kingdom, and two sisters are going to be presented by their father. One is selfish, prideful, and greedy, wanting all the power, where the other cares for everyone really well and ends up becoming queen. For the first lesson based on that book would be for a third grade class in the area of science, and here are the standards. So the procedure for this science lesson would involve the students reading the book and then working in pairs to be able to essentially grow their own plant. They're going to plant a seed and work together to grow it. And as they pick and plant the seed, they're also going to pick a certain trait of Nyasha, who's the main girl who becomes queen. And whether that's generosity or kindness, etc., they're going to work on growing in that kind of virtue as their plant grows. They'll take pictures of it every day and then be able to use technology to compile those pictures to create a presentation to share the fruits and growth of their project with the community and their class. For technology for the lesson, the app Stop Motion Studio will be used. Here is a little look at the website of Stop Motion Studio, where you can take pictures on your own camera and then upload them and create your own videos based on stop motion. So it would be perfect for the project with the plant that's growing, because you'll take a different picture of the plant every day and see the slow growth over time. The second lesson would also be for a third grade classroom, focused more on social studies and history, and here are the standards. The procedure for this lesson would involve the reading of the book with the class, and then students working in small groups creating timelines of the events of the story, and using an infographic to be able to set this up well. An important point is the students are not merely making an infographic with the dates, but they will also be able to reflect on the different influences and events that are surrounding these dates, and be able to pinpoint that along with each of those specific points on the timeline. They'll also be encouraged to reflect on their own kind of events and timeline in their own life and be able to make and create that, whether through another infographic or through a blog post on their webpage. The technology tool for this second lesson would be Canva. Here's an example of the beginning of an infographic for the timeline for the lesson. You'll note the simplicity, and the students will be able to share and build off of their perspective and points and the influences mentioned earlier, extrapolated from these fine points. Another book chosen for this book critique is entitled The Day the Crayons Quit. This sweet and comical story narrates the complaints and comments of young boys' crayons who are ready to quit based on the way in which he uses them. A creative tale, it includes a great assortment of images colored by crayon and depicts the story alongside the written words. My Friend Rabbit by Eric Roman is a sweet, funny tale about a dedicated, yet somewhat silly friend who is loyal through thick and thin and seems to have trouble chasing behind him at all times. There are themes within the story of cooperation, kindness, and friendship. Where the Wild Things Are, another Caldecott Medal winner, is a fun, imaginative tale of a young boy whose mother describes him as a wild thing, and who experiences quite the adventure one night after his wildness lands him in early bedtime with no dinner. The images are captivating and unique, detailing wild creatures never before conceived. This Is Not My Hat, a picture storybook, is about stealing and other social skills, and shows an adventure of a little fish who takes the hat of a very big fish, and how it turns out in the end. The pictures are made using watercolors, it would seem, and are particularly lovely, especially the seaweed. The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams is a touching story about a little velveteen rabbit, stuffed animal, who comes to discover what it means to be real through the love and the interaction he has with a young boy. Make Way for Ducklings by Robert McCloskey is a darling, enchanting, and beautiful story about a pair of mallard ducks and the raising of their 8 ducklings. Although the coloring is only brown and white, the details are exquisite. The final book that I read for this book critique is entitled Dark Emperor and Other Poems of the Night. It's a poetry book about life in the forest. Some of the stories are at night with many animals and movings throughout the forest. Each story shares more specific information about different particular animals or creatures or even plants, from raccoons, woodland snails, to the dark emperor owl, and pictured on the cover, as well as trees. There are realistic looking pictures and descriptive imagery used without. Quite an enjoyable book of poetry. Thank you so very much.